Well, thank you so much, Marguerite, for inviting us, and to everybody at the show for inviting us. I'd just like to tell you briefly about Acadia Pharmaceuticals, because you may not know much of us. We're a US-based company. We're probably a medium-sized pharmaceutical company, about 500 employees in San Diego, Princeton, New Jersey, and we have a small office in Basel, Switzerland as well. Our focus is on disorders for which there are no approved treatments, focusing on brain diseases and rare disease. So we have 2 drugs approved in the United States, one of them for Parkinson's disease psychosis, but more relevant, I think, is we previously had a program in another rare disease called Rett syndrome. And in March of this year, we received FDA approval for the first drug ever to treat Rett syndrome. So our program in Prader-Willi syndrome is our second program in rare disease. And the system that our drug works on is on the oxytocin system. Oxytocin is, as it says here, a hormone that regulates several functions in the body, including hunger, but also anxiety, social behavior, and bonding. There's a deficiency of oxytocin in Prader-Willi syndrome, and that's associated with hyperphagia. It's been shown that in Prader-Willi syndrome, there are fewer neurons in the brain that produce oxytocin. So the drug we're studying is called Carbetocin, which is a drug that's very similar to oxytocin. Actually, it binds oxytocin receptors even more specifically than oxytocin itself. So the drug that we're studying, Carbetocin, is a nasal spray. It's not approved for anything in any country yet, but Carbetocin given intravenously is widely used in about 90 countries as a hormone to prevent hemorrhaging after birth, postpartum hemorrhaging. So it's been widely used and it has a very nice safety profile. On the next slide, I'd like to tell you about a study that's already taken place with Carbetocin nasal spray. This was a study that was sponsored by another pharmaceutical company called Acadia Pharmaceuticals, and that took place in the United States, Canada, and Australia. And as Dr. Youakim was talking about different phases of the study, that was actually a phase 3 study called the IPWSO study. There was 119 participants who were 7 to 19 years old, and they were treated with both a low dose and a high dose of Carbetocin nasal spray or placebo for 8 weeks. So the study showed that Carbetocin was well tolerated as far as the safety profile, and it showed that the low dose had improvement in hyperphagia symptoms. Unfortunately, the study pre-specified it was really aimed at studying the high dose. So Acadia Pharmaceuticals went to the FDA in January of 2022 and made an application to get the low dose approved, even though there was evidence for the low dose. FDA said there's not enough evidence for the low dose, you were really focusing on the high dose. So Carbetocin was not approved by FDA, but FDA said if you can gather more information about the low dose, you can come back and do a submission. So Acadia Pharmaceuticals has now acquired Acadia Pharmaceuticals, and what we're planning is a even larger phase 3 study to study the low dose of Carbetocin nasal spray in people who have Prader-Willi syndrome and hyperphagia. And as it shows here on the left-hand side, this study is going to be a 12-week double-blind study, as we heard about earlier. So half the patients will get placebo and half the patients will get the low dose of Carbetocin nasal spray. The study has been discussed with FDA. And as it says in the middle, we're expecting about 170 participants to enter the study. And the main outcome will be the measurement of hyperphagia in IPWSO. After the 12 weeks, if the patient chooses, they can enter the open label study, which means that everybody will receive Carbetocin nasal spray for for a long period of time, and we would gather evidence of the safety and benefit of Carbetocin. So this study has not started yet. Our goal is to begin enrollment later this year. We'll begin first in the United States and Canada, and then we will begin entering participants in Europe in 2020. So that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.